Why, hello guys, and welcome to my weekly commentary. And I have great news for all the feminists of the world, and that it appears that in the future, women finally attain complete equality with men. As seen in this amazing footage from Mars in the future, women soldiers not only have the same armor, rank, and prestige, apparently, and ability as the men, they also have completely gotten around any limitations physically, and they can jump, melee with the same force, and pretty much perform identical to the men in every respect. And on top of that, they are also way cuter than all the male protagonists, which means that by this time in human history, women have far exceeded men in just overall desirability. Because as we already know, women are necessary to keep the human race going. So there's not really a whole lot of question about whether who's more important even now, but obviously as this footage shows, this woman is completely kicking butt. So in the future, men have a dark time of it, and I can just imagine the scene of these people in the gym, because the other day I was working out in the gym, and as you probably know as a guy, if there's any girl in the gym who's starting to lift in a relatively similar amount of weight to what you are lifting, you start to feel really, really unmasculine and like you're a complete wimp. And men still have this whole thing of saying that's a girly lift, that's a girly amount of weight, that's a girly technique. And sort of it is derogatory. I admit it's derogatory of whenever speaking of physical activity being easier. And so, I mean, I can just imagine these poor guys, because in my mind, they haven't quite totally caught up with the whole thing that women are equal to them in every single way. And they're probably still just straining their guts out in the gym, probably giving themselves hernias left and right, because men are more prone to hernias. So I mean, if the women are equal in strength, the men are trying to lift as much weight, they're going to give themselves hernias. So I'm anticipating a rash of male hernias in the future. And all in all, yeah, it's a good time for women. So women's livers rejoice. Your time is coming, and we'll get on to the topic today. And today's topic is owls. Owls are a nocturnal predatory bird in the order Strigiformes. And if you guys don't know what a bird is, I really, really suggest you get off your chair, leave the whole comfort of your computer / Xbox, go outside and look around for a while. You'll hear these weird tweeting noises. Those are birds. And of course, owls make all these different hooting noises, and you have screech owls, and it gets complicated. There's a lot of owls. But as all that to say, this commentary topic was suggested by one of our subscribers, Joe, and so thank you for participating in the commentary request section, and hopefully this commentary on owls is all you hoped it would be. Let's get right into it, and the fact is owls are utterly terrifying. Completely silent, stealthy nocturnal predators. All their little victims have no clue they're about to get eaten by an owl and gripped in monstrously huge talons, which would basically be sort of like you being grabbed by the jaw of a backhoe, but the backhoe has swords on the end of it. It's a really uncomfortable experience, I imagine, for all the mice and field voles who are gripped by these owls. And the thing is that there's a lot of field goal / mouse terror going on in the world, because owls eat a prodigious amount of little critters every single night. Each owl eats approximately 6 little critters. Each owl in the world, and there's lots of them, thousands and thousands, it accounts for about 6 little tiny squeaks of terror and a creature being torn brutally limb from limb, head torn off by a beak, and then gobbled down by this voracious owl. So at least 6 of those every night. And then when they're nesting, it gets even worse, because owl chicklets are probably the most greedy little nutrient-sucking leeches ever conceived in the natural world. Each little owlet eats about 10 field vole-sized rodents a night. And so if an owl has like a nest of 5 little owlets, you've got 50 voles which have to be sacrificed. It's a never-ending machine of gut-sucking carnage and death that is these chicklets. And then you got the 6 on top of that, which each parent has to eat. So this one nest of owls is eating 66 poor little hapless creatures a night. And life sucks for them. If you're a little mouse and it's completely dark and you think, aha, owls have huge eyes, they see in the dark, I'm probably safe, you'd be totally wrong. Because owls not only have amazing eyesight and can see very well in the dark with large boogie eyes, which is sort of cool and creepy. On a related note, did you know that owls would probably be the best rubberneckers in the world, because their heads can turn around 180 degrees and look completely behind them? Although I imagine this causes a lot of uncomfortable conditions whenever you have, the owl couples out together, and then the hot little screech owl flies past, and the little male owl is like, head still turning, flies into a tree, and his wife slash, I don't know about owls' matrimonial status. I haven't studied that yet. I know, obviously, that the couple stays together for the nesting season, but I don't know if they meet for life. Anyway, she's very unhappy with him, probably pecks him a few times and stabs him with her talons. Back to the eyesight. All right, so the way ears work and how you know whether or not sound is coming from the left or from the right, you may not have realized this, but your brain senses which ear the sound hits first, and that's how it knows which way the sound is coming from. Owls have incredibly sensitive hearing, and so they know exactly which way, left or right, how the sound comes from. But they also have their ears are not the same height on their head. And several species of owls, barn owls and several others, their ears are actually oblong to where one ear is higher than the other. So the owl can tell by which ear hears first, not only where the object is left or right compared to it, but up and down compared to it. So it knows that the object is directly ahead of it, the tiny little skirkle screech of a mouse scurrying with bulgy, buggy eyes and terrified heartbeat through the foliage. It knows exactly where that is if it's looking right at it, because that's the only point when the sound hits both ears at the same time. So barn owls can hunt their poor little victims without any light at all. In a completely darkened box, a barn owl will strike with almost perfect accuracy on the poor little victims. So owls are terrifying. What an owl is to a mouse is like what a AC-30 gunship is to a little terrorist truck driving along a road out in complete open where you have no cover. You're pretty much, as soon as you realize it's there, you're dead. You're done, doomed. Your head's getting torn off by a beak, talons ripping through your poor little fur. I would have to say that mice are probably, even though they have a reputation for being sort of frightened and scaredy, they're probably one of the bravest creatures of all time, because they actually scurry outside their burrows and go do things with all these owls hovering around in the general vicinity, waiting to strike them dead in a second. And so it sort of sucks as a mouse. You would have all these babies and know pretty much that most of them are going to die early on in their life. Although, interestingly, owls also have a very high mortality rate themselves, doing things like flying into power lines, getting hit by cars, and interestingly, among barn owls, getting eaten by great horned owls. So nature's a hard place. It really is. Interestingly, of course, owls are generally considered by people to be beneficial birds, because anytime you have a creature which kills something which is also trying to eat something which we like to eat, we like it. It just is pretty much across the board. Well, even though spiders, they have a horrible bad rap, because even though they're trying to eat bugs which eat things that we want to eat, people have this silly predispositions and prejudices about spiders. But owls, on the other hand, are generally considered good birds. And so humans thank them by giving them copious quantities of rat poisoning through the rats we try to poison and the owls eat, and also smooshing them with cars. And so that's why you really better hope that no aliens are watching the planet and basing their diplomacy strategy with humans based on what humans do to animals, because that would be very bad for us. We don't want aliens watching us. It's not a pretty picture. Alright guys, so I think I'm out of time, and be sure to like, subscribe, share, and get more people in on this. The more people in the community that we have suggesting topics, the more interesting and widely varied these commentaries will be. So you guys are the ones who are driving this, and of course, Abram requested a karaoke song, but that's going to be on my Destiny montage. So the next commentary has an open spot for a random karaoke song if you guys feel so inclined to ask for it. And I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful week. Goodbye.